Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the Young Baratheons for Freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-ERECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad, bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good, good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans, and to all of my fellow freedom lovers around the globe. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is, live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And, yeah, I checked again today. I check every day. And it's still live free or die, not big government or bust. It is a Thursday, May the 14th, in the year of our Lord, 2015. As we are now just but a day away, a day between us and the weekend. Man, this week has just flown by. It's already Thursday. Unbelievable. The number that you can call this evening is toll-free at 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. You know, there's a lot going on in the news today. And a lot of this stuff is really catching some liberals. I guess you could say it's catching them off guard, because it's really showing them to be hypocrites. Now, and I know some of you are probably thinking, well, he must be talking about Obama being called a sexist because he said Elizabeth Warren's first name. Instead of Elizabeth Warren, he called her Elizabeth. And, Obama is over there feeling like a hurt little child. Why are you picking on me? I'm not sexist. This is for absolutely. This is in preparation for. Now, understand this, folks. You have Hillary Clinton out there who isn't answering questions to the press. I don't care who the press. If the press is left leaning or right leaning, she's not. If somebody asks her a question, a reporter, she's not answering it. Now, I don't know about you, but it's difficult to run a presidential campaign without answering questions. I don't know if she really... I mean, do liberals really think that little of us? Are they really that arrogant that they don't think that they have to answer important questions anymore? Well, no, because I don't think they do, at least not yet, because even Obama still answers questions. And he's the anointed potentate, right? If anybody on the Democrat side would, could ever possibly think that they're above answering questions, it would be Obama. But he still answers questions. I mean, he might get mad at some of the questions. He might not like some of the questions. He may pout over some of the questions. But he'll still answer them. But Hillary isn't answering questions. So I'm just wondering, how do you run a campaign when you don't answer questions? I mean, we haven't gotten to the point where it's just where politics during an election season is one way. The rest of the year or the rest of the term for politicians, it does seem to be a one-way conversation, the politician to the people instead of the other way around, the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to, just so nobody misunderstands me. The conversation is supposed to go this way. The people to their representatives. In other words, the representatives are supposed to be listening to their people. Instead, what we often get during the off season, not politics season, is the politician speaking to their constituents and not really giving a damn what their constituents have to say. But when you are running for office and you're running for election or re-election, it kind of switches because, they want to pander for your vote is what they're basically doing. And that's on both the left and the right. I'm not going to let the right off the hook on that. They often pander to the voter as well. And so they'll at least pretend to be listening to you, and they'll attempt to answer your questions. Most of the time they'll obfuscate, and they'll just, instead of, you can ask a politician a simple yes or no question, and then they'll drone on for 5 minutes. Well, I don't know. It should be less than 5 seconds. A senator or a potential senator, is the sky blue? Yes. No, or do you believe the sky is blue? Yes. What, is that a 1 second answer? Yes. But instead, they'll drone on 5 minutes. Is the sky blue? Well, that is really going to depend on the variations of the time of day, and they'll drone on without ever answering your question, because by the time the 5 minutes is over, you still won't get a yes or no out of them. But at least they're pretending to attempt to answer the question. Hillary isn't even doing that. So I'm just wondering, how is it that you're going to run an effective campaign without answering, or at least pretending to answer, any questions? So this is, all of a sudden Obama's being hit with this, this sexism argument. Are you kidding me? Really? Now, look, I'm sorry. When people unfairly and unduly attack Barack Obama, I will point it out. And I had somebody point this out to me earlier today. They agree with me. Nick, this is BS. I mean, are you kidding me? Just because what is her name? Her name is Elizabeth, right? So the president calls you Elizabeth, or calls you, well, I don't know if he calls a male by his first name, a male senator by his first name. Is that's not sexist, obviously, right? So why is it when you call a woman by her first name? He is the president. But this is the left, and I believe that this is the left trying to put forth another potential candidate. They're trying to puff and build up Elizabeth Warren. Let me tell you something. That would be the greatest mistake that the Democrats could possibly do. And, I probably shouldn't say this because, there's some Democratic operative out there who's listening to this, I'm sure. And he'll probably run back and say, this is what the people are really thinking. I'm telling you right now, the best thing for the Republicans, even if they throw up Jeb Bush, the best thing would be for the Democrats to drop Hillary, or Hillary to drop out, and they give us Elizabeth Warren. She's going to be skewered. She does not have the name cred. And for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda, that cred means credibility. She doesn't have the name recognition. What little recognition she does have is not positive. She's a total wacko nut. She's over there on the far left with Bernie Sanders, as far as I'm concerned. She's a lying nut job. I don't know, is that sexist? I'd say the exact same thing if she were a male. I'd say he's a lying nut job. That's Bernie Sanders. He's a lying nut job. I don't think it's sexist on either part. But you got to ask. I mean, how do you? Why would you put forth this person? I mean, who is this Elizabeth Warren? She's not worthy, as far as I'm concerned. But it would be the best thing, because if the Democrats all of a sudden needed to replace a woman with a woman, then let them do Elizabeth Warren. The only saving grace for Warren that the left might be holding on to is that they believe that the right will be a male. The Republican nominee will be male. And they believe that they are going to try to take advantage of the gentlemanly conduct that most conservative males do have. They have a gentlemanly conduct. In other words, they do not pick on women. It's a kind of a chivalrous attitude. And by the way, most women like chivalry. Do not doubt me on that. You young bucks out there, if you want to set yourself apart, I mean, head and shoulders above the rest of the crowd, you look to the old-fashioned methods, old-fashioned ways of treating and respecting women. On the Christian side, on the Judeo-Christian side, you will have women flocking to you. They will not want to let you go, because even today's college female, between the ages of 18 to 21, they like feeling like a woman. If you make a girl feel like a woman, you will have them in the palm of your hand. If you respect them, if you treat them like a woman, if you make them feel like a woman, and that means, opening the door for them. Go ahead. The girls that complain, I can open my own door, you know what? They're only going to be trouble for you down the line. Let them go. Don't worry about them. Most women like the idea that you'll hold the door for them. Most women like the idea that you buy them flowers for no particular occasion or reason. Just because, you just come home one day, or you see your girlfriend one day and you just because I love you, honey. She is going to melt. You treat them like a queen and you will be treated like a king. I'm just telling you, chivalry does that. I'm telling you. Treat a woman like a queen and she will treat you like a king. Plain and simple. So this whole notion that they think that the Republicans are going to be too chivalrous to really attack Elizabeth Warren. Oh, this is politics. As Flip Wilson's Geraldine would say, oh, honey, this is politics. The devil comes out. And rightfully so. All's fair in love and war, right? In politics. I think they would be underestimating, because look, they can tear her down without being sexist, even though the left is going to try to portray them being sexist. All they have to do is point out her record and what she says. They don't have to be nasty about it. They just have to make sure that what she says comes back to haunt her. What her policies are and would come back to haunt her. She'd be easier to take out, in my book, than Hillary Clinton, because she doesn't have that name cred already. See, the problem with Hillary is that, she's got her husband, she's been senator, secretary of state, and everybody thinks she's the smartest woman in the world. She's got this 20-year name cred of being so brilliant. Elizabeth Warren does not have that. So I wouldn't see that as a problem. That would be a boon to the Republican side, actually. So let the Democrats go ahead and do that. Now, they'll probably hear this and maybe they'll think about it, and then maybe they'll look for somebody else to back. But I think that is what they're trying to do. They're trying to position her and give her enough self-confidence to go ahead and try to be the nominee and run for it if for whatever reason Hillary either is forced out or backs out. Just saying. Now, speaking of the Clintons, Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, here's more leftist liberal hypocrisy. Now, this is all over the place. This is actually a pretty big. This is a huge story, actually, and I do not believe that the left really fully understands how big of a story this is. And I hope that everybody out there, from the independents to the conservative, to the Republican, to everybody on the right, makes hay out of this. The very fact that George Stephanopoulos, who is the chief news anchor on a major network, donated more than $50,000 to the Clinton Foundation. And he did this in 2014. This is now 2015. It was discovered that he did so, and now he says he's disclosing it. I apologize for not disclosing it before. No, the problem is that you got caught, George. You didn't think. See, this is the whole arrogance part about the left. They don't think that they could ever get caught with anything. And if they do, they just figure, well, it's no big deal. No big deal at all. And I'm telling you, it's a huge deal. Now, this guy is supposed to be, well, first of all, he's not a journalist. But he's supposed to be acting like a journalist, and a journalist is supposed to be middle of the road, not supposed to take sides. But I said this the day that he was hired by ABC, that how do you hire, a mouthpiece for a president? I don't care if it's on the left or the right. It doesn't matter who the president is. How do you hire a mouthpiece who is so tied to politics as George Stephanopoulos is, and tied to a president, Bill Clinton? How do you hire them, and still try to have some sort of credible credence to your ability to be neutral? News people are supposed to be neutral. I know they're not. And I often say it's not possible because journalists are human, so they're always going to have their personal view put into a story. But these people don't just put their personal view, don't pepper their personal view in a story. It's how they approach the story. You can approach a story just wanting to know the facts and going to report the facts. And as you're writing it down or scripting it, your personality is going to come out, and it's going to lean to whatever direction that you lean in the political wind. So if you're a leftist true leftist journalist, you're going to present the facts, but you're going to present them in a slightly leftist type of manner. Just like if you are on the right, if you're a Republican or a conservative journalist, you're going to present the facts in a slightly right manner. That's just human. Get it, got it, understand, understood. But you're still approaching it from a centralized, give me the facts, I need all the facts, ma'am, please. But in people like George Stephanopoulos' cases, They're approaching the story from the left. All you got to do is listen to the questions that he asked people. I mean, as if sometimes it's like, well, how dare you even ask that question of Mrs. Clinton? Why would you do that? That's not the question. That's not the story. He has been running interference and protection of the Clintons ever since he's been at ABC. If you don't believe me, all you got to do is just go back. Go back when he started. He hasn't changed, if anything, as he's risen in the ranks of over at ABC, as he's gotten his own name cred. He's become more leftist in the tank. He's hidden it less. And now he wants us to believe, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't apologize. It slipped my mind. How does it slip your mind that you give your former boss, remember, he worked for Bill Clinton. How does it slip your mind that you give your former boss, some reports say $75,000. Other reports say $50,000 to $100,000. Some reports say more than $50,000. How do you forget that you gave somebody $50,000? I don't care how rich you are, and Stephanopoulos is not that rich. Yeah, he's a wealthy man now because of ABC, but he's not that rich. I mean, how do you forget what you did with $50,000? You don't. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Donald Trump. I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or Bill Gates. $50,000 is not going to slip through your hands where you're going to forget what you did with it. You know, it's not walking around just walking around money. Nobody does that with that kind of money. That's a lot of money for anybody. But now he's out there. He's saying, "Well, yeah." But here's a story from the Washington Times, and again, it's all over the place. But ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos has donated between $50,000 and $100 or $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation, and at least a portion of that money was donated in 2014. Now, Stephanopoulos finally confirmed the donation to Politico's Dylan Byers after the Free Beacon contacted ABC News for comment. The host then apologized for not disclosing the donation, and he apologized in a statement. He said, I made charitable donations to the foundation in support of the work they were doing on global AIDS prevention and deforestation, causes I care about deeply. I thought that my contributions were a matter of public record. However, really? If you thought they were a matter of public record, then why didn't you just mention it? Mention it in passing. You were so tight-lipped about it. Just mention it in passing. Didn't even do that. He continues, however, in hindsight, I should have taken the extra step of personally disclosing my donations to my employer and to the viewers on air doing recent news stories about the foundation. So he's doing a story on the foundation. And he figures, oh, well, I'm not going to tell anybody I donated. So he's running a protection racket for the foundation, Clinton Foundation. And he doesn't feel it necessary to excuse himself from the story or to disclose. Every time the networks do a story and about a company or something, especially if it's Disney or Time Warner or something, they always mention if they're affiliated, like this company who's ABC's parent, they disclose that's public record too, and people probably already know, but they always say that. So this idea that Stephanopoulos is saying, no, well, I thought it was public record. No, look, don't doubt me on this. The man was trying to hide it. He was giving them money, and he's trying to do it on the sly. And he just didn't want people to know about it. And now that he's gotten caught, now he's going to try to backtrack and say, well, I apologize. In hindsight, I should have done it. But you know what's going to happen is that it's going to continue to happen in the future, and we're still not going to know if he's donating to somebody unless somebody else comes up and asks him that.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Rod Eccles.
603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. Look. Welcome back, folks. This is your lovable host, El Rod, sitting here in the Freedom Throne, speaking to you from the Bunker Ice Home Studio via the Freedom mic. Look, this whole notion that Stephanopoulos or any of them, I mean, come on. We know. Here's the problem. And the problem is that most of us in this country understand that these networks and news outlets have a political bent, in that most of the networks and news outlets out there have a liberal bent. Some more liberal than others, granted, but they're still, the vast majority have a liberal bent. Now, when it comes to broadcast media, major broadcast media, the only non-liberal leaning outlet is Fox. And it's amazing how much the Fox gets dumped on for espousing something that they don't deny. They never have. You know, Fox News says, well, we're fair and balanced. But let's face it. Fox also says, yeah, you know, a lot of our commentators and our news people, they're right-leaning. You know, we're trying to be fair and balanced. Balance meaning we're giving you the other side of the story that you're not getting over on the other 5 major networks. And for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Real Linda, 5 networks, Rod? I thought there were only 3. No, there's ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, MSMS, and CNN. So this CNN, look, it was started by none other than Ted, what's his name? Wasn't he married to Jane Fonda? You know, Jane Hanoi Fonda? I can't believe I can't remember his name. But anyway, you know who I'm talking about. Because it was also, he also had Headline News. Headline News is still on the air, right? I don't hear much. Because look, back in the day, you know, when CNN started and Headline News started in the 80s. And it was new because it was different. One, they were 24 hours news, and they really came to light during Desert Shield and Desert Storm. They were able to do things that the other Fox was just getting its, you know, it was still wet behind the ears, but the other 3 major networks were kind of got trumped by CNN, which gave rise to CNN. It was really because of Desert Storm and Desert Shield. And we could see that their name brands, if you will, their big names like Bernard Shaw, they were big lefties. Everybody knew they were leftists. And they didn't really try to hide the fact that they were leftists. They just never admitted it. Well, they didn't really try to hide it. They were leftists. So CNN has always had a liberal bent. But you've always had ABC, CBS, and NBC trying to hide their liberal bent by saying, no, we're journalists. We're fair. No, they haven't been fair in decades. They've been liberal for decades. And we constantly get proof of this, and yet people wonder, well, why does everybody hate all these other news outlets? Why is everybody flocking to Fox? Fox, you know, I get so sick and tired of as soon as somebody slams Fox, I know they're a leftist. And I know they do not watch Fox News. Because all they do is say the same tired, drawn out, most of the time already been disproven sound bites. And I'm done talking with people like that. All I'll say is like, you know what? Since I don't watch Fox, because it comes to me all the time. Well, geez, you should stop watching Fox News. I don't even argue with them anymore. I just say, well, since I do not watch Fox News, and I don't, I'm going to have to defer to you as to what Fox News says and does, because you obviously watch them because you're telling me you know what they say. If you don't watch them, then you don't know what they say, and you need to shut the hell up. And 99 times out of 100, that stops the argument and the conversation. Because they don't watch it. Leftists don't watch it. And you get that 1% that does, and they come back and they say, yeah, I've seen this and this. I'm like, great. I don't know what they say, so because I don't watch it, so I can't argue with you. So then I still stop it because I don't watch it. But I know this. I see the excerpts, of things like Megyn Kelly, and I see the excerpts every once in a while of Bill O'Reilly, and I see the excerpts of Sean Hannity, and on occasion I'll catch Sean Hannity on his radio program. So I kind of know what they're saying, and I know that they're different from I probably watch. Well, at least I used to watch MSNBC more often than Fox because I needed to know what they were saying. And it hurt my brain, folks. Watching MSNBC and CNN, it didn't give me a headache. It literally hurt my brain. I don't know how anybody watches those two especially. But I've watched Diane Sawyer and Brian Williams and Tom Brokaw and, as younger, even Walter Cronkite. But I got to tell you, and Peter Jennings and the whole host of them. But I got to tell you, watching CNN and MSNBC, and CNN is just so bad. I want to know what's going on over there and what they're saying, but they're so bad, I can't even get the signal from my brain to my fingers to coordinate to punch in the channel. My brain won't let me do it. I mean, in my heart, I want to go, well, let's see what CNN is saying. My brain's saying, nope, no. You remember the last time you watched How Much You Hurt Me? And MSNBC is there now, too. It hurts your brain. I'm not going to tell you to stop watching it, but you got to understand what these people are, who these people are, and George Stephanopoulos is right up there with them. This whole notion that he's fair and balanced, because he's a journalist, he's not a journalist. He's not. I'm not a journalist. And I always stop people right then and there. Oh, you claim that you're a journalist. I never claimed I was a journalist. And that's how I know that these people that always say stuff like that don't listen to me either. Because I have never once ever claimed to be a journalist. I have always claimed to be a commentator. That's it. I'm not a journalist. I'm not going to give you the unbiased opinion of the news. No, I'll give you the facts and logic and with my full bent. I'm not going to pretend to be that I'm fair and balanced because I'm not fair and balanced. I call BS on fair and balanced because I'm a commentator, not a journalist. I'm on the right. I have no qualms of admitting it and saying it. Plain and simple. But these people, they want to try to hide. Every time that we prove that they're a leftist or leftist leaning and supporting, and they try to hide behind it. So now, I wonder what George is going to say now. Well, no, I'm still neutral. George, you gave over $50,000 to your former boss, who's a big liberal. How are you going to claim to be fair and balanced? And some people will say, well, Rod, do you mean that journalists can have to stop being human and people? No, but if you are a journalist, then you should not ever put yourself in the position where you give the air of support for an ideal or situation. Plain and simple. It's supposed to be just the facts. That's what a journalist is supposed to do. Give you just the facts. By the way, 44% of there's a poll out there. 44% of those polled think that Hillary Clinton is less ethical than most other politicians. Now, in light of what has gone on recently with Hillary Clinton, I don't know how the number is so low at 44%. I don't, it's even if you even if you are asking 100% Democrats, I do not understand how you think. Well, I guess it depends on what you consider ethics to be. Is it ethical to lie to people? Yeah, if it's going to get you what you want. Yeah, some people will say, yeah, it's ethical to lie. I mean, Islam, says it's okay to lie to the infidel. It's okay. So I guess it really depends on what you believe is ethical and what you believe is unethical, which is scary in and of itself. To think that our country's, our nation's morals are so fleeting. People can be so flippant about morals that they can justify just about anything and then consider themselves to be ethical. They can lie to your face and still consider that to be ethical because, the ends justifies the means, so they would say. Maybe my kind of ethics and my kind of morals, maybe they are dying. I don't know. But if they are, as humans, as a race of beings on this planet, we're in big, huge trouble. Huge trouble. Now, just look around you and see everything. Look, you have politicians, especially on the left, that are using the recent Amtrak tragedy. We're now up to 8. And I guess the report I saw today was that all passengers have been accounted for, and other than 8, everybody else is alive and doing okay. So I guess the number is going to stop climbing now. 8 is going to be it. That's sad. People just get on a train and their life ends. And we have some politicians and others, especially on the left, who are trying to use this as a means to get what they want. Now, even Obama is now saying, well, hey, we need to spend more on infrastructure. And this sort of thing wouldn't happen if we spent what I said we should spend on infrastructure. Now, I think that's lower than low. That is showing absolutely no common courtesy to the people and families of this tragedy, for one. It is not a method. It's a lie, for one. And now you're not only being, in my book, you're being unethical by using this tragedy. You're lying while using this tragedy to get what you want. And there are plenty of people who think that is perfectly justified and ethical. So I guess I can, now that as I'm talking to you about it, I fully understand how only 44% think that Hillary Clinton is less ethical than most other politicians. Well, I want to know who they consider to be less ethical than Hillary. Evidently it's not Obama. But is this the highest percentage of any 2016 presidential candidate or potential candidate in this Fox News poll? Now, this is a Fox News poll, by the way. Yes, I just disclosed it. I openly disclosed it. I apologize for not disclosing it before I said it. Yeah, that's. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a George Stephanopoulos here. I apologize that I did not disclose it before I disclosed it. That this was Fox News poll. 29% said Mrs. Clinton was more ethical than most, and 29, almost a third, think that Mrs. Clinton is more ethical than most politicians. My head is going to explode. Are you kidding me? Nearly 1/3 of those polled in a Fox News poll. And Fox tends to be on target with their polls, but let's understand that Fox is right-leaning. So that number might actually be slightly higher. Because all polls they have a margin of error, anywhere from 2 to 4%, right? So think that within the margin of error, 1/3 of people in this country, then one can take away this: that 1/3 of the American people believe that Mrs. Clinton, former First Lady, former United States Senator from New York, former Secretary of State under Barack Obama, believe that she is more ethical than most other politicians. I would hate to see what other politicians these people are comparing her to in their own mind. 24% said that she's about the same, ethically speaking, as all the others. Now, 36% thought former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee was more ethical than most other politicians, compared to 18% who said he was less ethical, and 27% said he was about the same. Now, going down the Fox poll goes down a list, but here's a couple of others for the more or less and about the same, respectively. Senator Rand Paul, 33% say he's more ethical, 20% say he's less ethical, and 30% say he's about the same. And Governor Jeb Bush, 26% say he's more ethical, 28% say he's less ethical. Nearly a third of the people think that Bush is on par with Hillary? Oh, I'm sorry. That might be construed as being sexist because I used Hillary's first name of Hillary. Mrs. Clinton. I don't know. That's probably sexist too, calling her Mrs. Clinton. Marco Rubio. 26% say he's more ethical. 19% believe that he's less ethical. And 33% say he's about the same. Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz. 23% say he's more ethical. 25% say he's less ethical. And 30% say he's about the same. Governor Scott Walker, 22% versus 18%. And 29% say he's about the same as the rest. And Governor Chris Christie, 17% say he's more ethical. And 37% believe he's less ethical. And 31% believe that he's about the same. So, to put it in perspective, in other words, you have 29% say that Hillary's more ethical than others, most other politicians. But when you get right down to it, they then go ahead and try to say that Chris Christie, sitting governor, is less ethical than Hillary? Only 17%? Really? Where is our country going? what do people believe what do they believe the definition of ethics and ethical is? I don't know. Are we teaching ethics anymore? I don't think that we are. There you have it. So I guess if they were to actually start putting asking this type of a poll towards news anchors, many people would probably think that George is, ethical, and that it was not necessarily unethical to not disclose that he donated to the Clinton Family Foundation. Well, after all, he says, "Hey, look, they're doing the work that I believe in wholeheartedly. I was being ethical in donating because I was donating in something that I believed in and that they were doing and trying to attain." Hey, my donations are private. Well, yeah, one can say, that stuff is private, sure. But not when you are trying to sway and persuade the national electorate one direction or another. It would be this. Well, let's face it. Let's think. I don't know if Megyn Kelly. Now, let's be fair here. If Megyn Kelly gave $50,000 to, say, President George Bush for George Bush Foundation, and then tried to protect Jeb Bush and gave him all kinds of preferential treatment, do you think? And it came out later, and she never disclosed it, and it came out later that she gave $50,000 to President George Bush's foundation. Do you think that the left would just say, well, hey, it's ethical, it's just a slip of the mind? No, they would be jumping all over it, calling for her to be fired. And then after they got her fired, they'd be calling for her to be hung, drawn, and quartered. Oh, she should be in jail. That's how they would react if Megyn Kelly or anybody else on the right, or they perceived to be on the right, would have done exactly what George Stephanopoulos did. They would not consider them to be ethical. They would they consider George to be ethical, obviously. They would not. Look, we got Brian Williams, a known, proven, admitted liar. And people, more and more people are saying, yeah, George, Brian Williams should come back, be back on the news. He should be sitting back in his anchor chair. I mean, after all, it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, this is what we get all the time. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think Brian Williams should come back. How can you trust him? Oh, well, he admitted that he lied. So, but he was just misremembering the facts, and that he was trying to get his point and his story across. And what was important was the story. So in the case of Stephanopoulos, what's important is a story that George is trying to get out. Forget the fact that he's trying to protect the Clintons, and he's running the first line of defense for them and all that kind of stuff. He's just trying to get the narrative out. That's all. Because it's a narrative that it's a politically correct narrative, so that's fine. And Brian Williams is just trying to get a politically correct narrative out there because everybody feels the same way that Brian felt. And let's face it, he really wishes that all the stuff that he said were true. Like Clinton landing under fire that was a blatant lie, but she wishes that she landed under fire like that. Under sniper fire. She just wanted to portray what it was like to be over there, to get the narrative out about how other people have to go through this, and we shouldn't be there, and people shouldn't have to live like that and go under that kind of condition. So what she was trying to do was noble, and that she should have worded it differently. That's all. You know, Brian Williams should have worded those answers and those statements differently. Stephanopoulos should have, mentioned some things differently. But after all, it's all about the narrative. And that's what counts to the left. That's ethics to them.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the Young Baratheons for Freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the north? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-IRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven ultra-lipo shtick. Carbohydrates are bad, bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good, good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on ultra-lipo shtick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using ultra-lipo shtick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra-lipo shtick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used ultra-lipo shtick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra-lipo shtick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra-lipo shtick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans and all of my fellow liberty lovers across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great grand estate of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is a Thursday, May the 14th in the year of our Lord 2015, as we continue on to the second hour of the fastest 2 hours on internet radio right here on the Rod Eccles Show. The number that you can call to join me live is toll-free 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. I think I need to move off of the subject of, well, look, ethics is huge. I don't think it should be able to float with the wind. I know it can be subjective, but let's face it, ethics are based on what is right and what is wrong. And if you start fiddling with what's right and what's wrong, well, your ethics are going to be able to float as well. And it's you can't have a society that's based on floating morals or mores. It can't stand. You can't make good public policy. You can't make good public law. You can't keep families together. Because somebody might think, look, there is right and wrong in the world, in the universe. There is right and wrong. There is black and white. I believe that there is no gray area. The only reason why we say there's gray area is because, because we might want to do it. And we don't ever want to. It's kind of like, putting it in perspective, it's kind of like a lot of people voted for Obama because they didn't want to be construed as being a racist. Well, that's dumb. Because now you're changing the meaning of the word racist. You're floating it off someplace to where it should not be. So, and it's come back to bite us. So now that every time you disagree with this man, oh, you're a racist. Well, but you try to argue back and say no, because when Bill Clinton put forth these same policies, Hillary Care, Obamacare, I was against Hillary Care and I was against Obamacare. Oh, you're against Obamacare because you're racist. Because you voted for him to prove that you were not a racist, but that in and of itself shows a racial tendency. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then once you did that, you got trapped. Once the country did that, the country got trapped because they successfully shifted the meaning of the word racism to mean that you just, you're against this president. And they shifted it to mean, well, maybe you didn't like Obamacare, and maybe you didn't like Hillary Care even more than you didn't like Obamacare. But you know what? You're racist for not liking it from this president. That's where they shifted it to. And we the people, allowed them to let a few... Look, very simple. There are a few people, very few people in the whole grand scheme of, the 330 million people in this country, in the grand scheme of who the elite liberals are, who have the voice and dictate the narrative. They're the ones that decided that they were going to shift the meaning of the word racism and racist. And now they've watered it down so and shifted it so far away from its original meaning that it can encompass anything. And they're doing the same thing with sexism and being a sexist. Obama just got slapped. He got slapped in the face. People saying, you're a racist, right? You're a sexist because you used her first name. And since when is it construed to be sexist by calling somebody by their first name simply because they're a woman? When the whole reality is you're sexist by saying that to begin with. But that's not where they shifted the narrative and the meaning. They shifted it to say that if you call a woman by her first name, you're a sexist. Well, she has a name, right? If you don't call her by her name, I would assume that that's kind of being rude. That you don't think enough of the person by calling them by their name that their parents gave them. The name that they've used all their life. So now we can't call a woman by her first name because that would be construed as being sexist. You can't oppose Obama's policy because that would mean you're racist. And now we're finding through polls that the reason for all of this is because everybody's mores and morals are now floating. Nothing is tied down anymore. Everybody, well, no, there's just a bunch of gray areas. No, look, I have never bought into the notion that, there's no right and wrong. There's no black and white. It's all gray. No, there's black and white. That's all there is. Either it's right or it's wrong. Period. Well, Rod, we can always shift what we think is right and what is wrong. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. And nations, not just the United States, nations are falling apart because of it. We're seeing the rise of radical Islam because of it. Look, everything in this world is connected. Everything. It's like the old Chinese proverb, a hurricane on one side of the world begins with but a flap of a butterfly's wing on the opposite side. I paraphrase, but you know the saying. There are, it's kind of like, Josh Hartnett, what is it? The Butterfly Effect movie. There are ripples throughout society and throughout time for everything that you do. There are ripples. What you do today will affect you and those who come into contact with you for as long as you live and beyond. You will. It's just a ripple effect. So if you decide that one day, now for instance, millennials, we know, are putting off marriage, and many of them are just saying, why should I get married? What is marriage? Not even going the whole. They're not even talking about the whole issue of gay rights or gay marriage. No, they're just, why even bother get married? Let's just, we're just animals, like the animal kingdom. That's all. We can, it's we still have that double standard. Guy can sleep with multiple girls, and he's a stud. A woman can sleeps with multiple guys, and she's a slut. We still have that, but yet we're finding it less and less offensive for a woman to have multiple children by multiple fathers. Look, that screws up a kid's life. And in turn, that is affecting society. Because now you have all these people that are partially related to one another. You got a woman that has 4 kids by 4 different baby daddies. Well, those kids are still related, but what happens when this guy does the same thing the woman does? Well, he has 4 kids, but they're by 4 different women. They may not even know, the kids may not even know each other until one day they meet. And maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't. Maybe they actually, and this is happening. This is starting to happen. Maybe they fall in love and then realize, later on, she's your half sister, son. What? Yeah, I'm her daddy too. But you can't be, because she's my mom. Yeah, that's her mom. I was with her before I was with your mom. And now we're starting to say that that's okay. That's okay. Because we're saying, there's no black and white, there's no right and wrong. We can shift our morals any which way that makes us feel good. A just society cannot last and stand for long with floating mores. Never has worked. It has never worked in the history of mankind. There has always had, because you cannot make good, solid public policy and public law based on shifting morals. You just can't. Because eventually, certain things, let me give you an example. This whole case for legalizing pot. Now, granted, I never thought it should have been illegal in the first place for a number of different reasons. Now, I don't smoke the stuff, but I have admitted, yes, I tried it twice in my life, and yes, I did inhale, and I know I inhaled, unlike Bill Clinton, because like most people who do smoke it, from what I understand, I coughed. Like, you like your first drag of a cigarette, you hack up a lung, basically. Well, I did that, and I didn't particularly like that, and I didn't really feel. I don't know what it feels to be high, I guess, on pot. I know what it feels like to be high or drunk on alcohol, but I don't know what it's like to be, I guess, high on pot. So it did nothing for me. So I twice and I was done. That was it. I admit it. But the point is that now we have it has become illegal. It's been demagogued for decades. And now we have the shifting moray that says, it's not so bad after all. We should legalize it. We should, right? Who's it hurting? Well, it's the same thing can be said of just about anything, folks. Yeah, look, we have these states that were attacked and through the court systems and through the legislature, not through people voting. But some states said, well, yeah. Okay, gay marriage. Got it. And it happened enough times where some deviants, well, we call them deviants now, started to speak up and are starting to be heard. Well, you know what? If gays can get married, then, it should be okay to have sex with a minor. And indeed, on a daily basis, I see a new story about some female teacher, bedding down her teenage male students. Daily, new one. I go through my news feed for the show 5 days a week, every single day, 5 days a week throughout the entire year that I'm looking, at my news. There's a story of another teacher, female. Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's also stories about men who are basically molesting girls. And they claim, it was consensual. She wanted me to do it, and for the guy's defense and the woman's defense, well, we're in love. We fell in love. He loves me. This is what we're getting. And now that there are groups out there that say, well, maybe we should lower the age of consent. It should be okay for a 16 or 17-year-old to be able to have sex, legally with their 20-something-year-old teacher or 30-something-year-old teacher. It should be fine. It should be okay that a 50-year-old man should be able to have sex with a 15-year-old boy. That should be fine. Look, you gave homosexuals the right to marry. Why can't we at least have that? You start shifting your mores, and the ripple effect goes down a road you do not want to go. And then before you know it, you find yourself there. You find yourself at a crossroads, and you look back and you say, wow, we actually traveled down this road? And there's a sign right in front of you that says, no U-turn. So you've gotten to a place there is no return. And when you get to a place there is no return, your society starts to decline. All great societies throughout history have gone through it. And we're repeating the same thing. And now it is not just the United States, but this is a Western thing, if you will. When I say Western, look, even countries that weren't traditionally followed traditional Western beliefs and mores, such as China and India, they're starting to find themselves going down these roads. And they don't like it. But the population is starting to demand these shift in mores. And they're starting to float the idea of what is ethical now. It's the ends justify the means. When we used to say the ends do not justify the means, now we're starting to say, well, the ends justify the means. And we even have a major religion out there that says it's okay to lie to an infidel if in the end you're going to glorify Allah. Perfectly okay. Now, if you're the heathen or the infidel, do you want to be lied to? Do you think that's fair? Well, now, evidently you do, because you think, Hillary Clinton is, Chris Christie is less ethical than Hillary Clinton. Chris Christie, he had one scandal called Bridgegate. One. Hillary has 3 just from being Secretary of State. Let's not talk about the ones while her husband was governor of Arkansas or president of the United States. Oh, those are Bridgegate is a bigger scandal than Benghazi or the emails or the IRS or the Clinton Foundation. Yeah, Christie, he's untrustworthy. But I guess Hillary is. Look, I can't accept that. I will not accept that. For the very reason that I do not shift the meaning of words around. I am still back in the good old-fashioned meaning of the word. And if you go by the good old-fashioned meaning of the word ethical, there is no way in hell you can say that Hillary Clinton is ethical. The only way you get there is if you decide to shift the meaning. People who do not like Barack Obama's policies, sure, some of them may actually be racist, but that does not mean that everybody who disagrees with Barack or disagrees with his policies or dislikes his policies are racist. The real meaning of the word, racist. The vast majority who do not like his policies do not like his policies, and they didn't like them under a white president. Get my meaning? Get my drift? Get it? Got it? Good. And this leads into this next item. The 2016 Senate map is now quite shaky for Republicans. Now, look, I told you people this. When the Republicans gain the majority in the Senate, I said they better stick to their guns and do what they say that they were going to do, or the American people were going to have a hissy fit again and throw them out of office. And God forbid that they do that and put the Democrats back in control. Because, if you're going to be a liberal, you might as well be a Democrat, because you can't out-liberal a liberal. Just not going to happen. So you Republicans out there that think, well, maybe, we should be more liberal and move more towards the center. No, you can't out-liberal a liberal. Don't even try. You can't moderate liberalism. Look, liberals today are not what liberals were back during, like, say, John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy would be construed as a conservative today by liberal standards. So you can't out-liberal a liberal. So when anybody goes to if they want a liberal, they're going to go for the genuine article, not a rhino. So and this is the problem, because the Senate they have the power, just like the House, they have the power to do, the president is going to veto it. Let him veto it. Just pass the damn bills and put them on his desk. I mean, you guys are failing to do that. And so, yes, you're going to find that some Republican senators who were probably thought of being a lock before might be in trouble now, because they're not doing what they said they were going to do that got them elected in the first place last year. I mean, look, this should have been a slam with Obama and his approval numbers, really, his true approval numbers in the tank, and Hillary Clinton being who Hillary Clinton is, and her approval numbers, actually the real ones, being in the tank. It should be a slam dunk that we get another Republican House, a Republican Senate, and a Republican president. The problem is that the American people, because of shifting mores, have been lied to so often, so much, by even the Republicans, that they don't trust anybody. And, I can't say that I really blame them. Not really. But here's a story, and this is from townhall.com. Now, Charlie Cook of the Cook Political Report isn't necessarily all doom and gloom on Republican chances of holding the Senate, but he isn't all that positive either. And I got to tell you, I agree with Charlie. I'm not all that positive anymore. As it was in 2014, it's all about the candidates. And if Democrats can find solid folks to run in New Hampshire and Pennsylvania, in my own home state, Kelly Ayotte is up, and the liberals are smelling blood in the water. And let's face it, Kelly, Ayotte hasn't gone as liberal as some other senators have who are up for a re-election. But it's enough. It's enough. I mean, we'll continue this when I get back, folks.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
You know, the Republicans had better wake up, and they better wake up quick, because they could find themselves back in the minority just 2 years after taking the majority. And, you know, looking across the political landscape, I cannot find a problem with Cook's report, with Charlie Cook. Here's in my state. Look, we have Kelly Ayotte, who is up for re-election. Now, a lot of people might say, but she's got high approval numbers in your state, Rod. People like her. Here's the problem. We have a very popular governor who will have to decide either to, because our governor's term here in this state is only 2 years. That's right, not 4. It's 2. So our popular Democratic liberal governor, Maggie Hassan, is going to have to decide, does she want to still be governor, in which case she will probably get another term if she runs for governor. Or does she dip her foot in national politics and challenge Ayotte? Now, if she does that, now you're talking woman and woman, a female to female here, you're talking a battle royale is coming if Maggie Hassan decides that she wants Ayotte's seat. Now, personally, I don't like Hassan, really. I really don't. There are a number of reasons why I don't like her. She's a liberal Democrat, plain and simple, which is really kind of strange. It's not. Look, this is understand. This is a state that gave us a governor as a senator before who was a woman, and she's not up for re-election this time. And, last election season, 2014, the Republicans thought they'd be, kind of sly and slick and give us Mitt Romney to run against her. It didn't work out. Romney's got it. No, I knew Romney didn't have a chance. I knew, look, even though I was for Romney, I promoted Romney, I voted for Romney, I knew he didn't have a chance. He wasn't going to win. So when the numbers came in, I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed that I was right, but I wasn't surprised. Now, if it's a Hassan-Ayotte political fight, all bets are off. If the Democrats put up somebody else against Ayotte, it's for one reason only, that they believe that the seat is Ayotte's to have, and that they're not going to be able to unseat her. But if Hassan decides that, well, she's not invincible like Clinton, Hillary, I can take her seat. Believe me, you will see huge Democratic money coming into that fight. It will be a toss-up. It will be a nail-biter. And at this particular juncture, I could not tell you with certainty that Ayotte would prevail. In fact, it's highly possible that my fear of a Hassan victory could come true. Just tell. And this guy, I have said that before to people in this state. And this guy he says I'm right. Well, I mean, he didn't ask me and say, oh, yeah, you're right, Rod. But basically, he's backing me up on this. See, the Cook Political Report puts 2 Republican-held seats in the toss-up category. Now, the open seat in Florida, Rubio's seat, because he's not doing a John McCain. His open seat in Florida, and Kirk in Illinois, and that toss-up column will certainly grow, says the Cook Political Report, as the recruiting season progresses. If Democratic Governor Maggie Hassan challenges current Senator Ayotte in New Hampshire, and if former Democratic Senator Kay Hagan runs against Republican Senator Richard Burr in North Carolina, and for can you say retread? If former Democratic Senator Russ Feingold decides he wants to stage a rematch with Johnson in Wisconsin, all of those races would become toss-ups. And that's sad to say. And the only reason that is possible and plausible for most of those potential races is the very fact that people are upset with you Republicans in the Senate right now. Because you're not doing enough. You're capitulating and compromising your principles way too much, way too often, and giving the Democrats basically what they want. And that's not what the American people sent you, in your district, sent you there to do. They wanted you to stop Obama. They wanted you to put him on notice. They wanted you to force him to veto. How many times has the man, in 6 years, has he used a veto pen from a Republican-led approved bill? Look, do we really want to go back to the Harry Reid era in the Senate where nothing actually gets done because he's going to block anything that comes out of the House? I'm telling you, you got to stop the shifting mores. You got to stop, because the shifting mores stuff isn't coming from the general population of the American people. Yeah, we're being forced to accept stuff that we really don't want to accept. We're being forced, and it's being forced by very few people who are demanding that laws be passed, and they're demanding that courts, they take things to court, and they demand that these judges rule in their favor. And the rest of us are just forced to have to go along by fiat, because it's now law. Hey, you're a Christian. You're not allowed to turn down a gay couple. You're a Christian baker. You're not allowed to turn down a gay couple for their wedding. No, you got to bake them the cake. That was unheard of. Do you think John F. Kennedy, if the John F. Kennedy liberals were around today, do you think that this would happen? Absolutely not. Do you possibly think that if the Republicans had a backbone and stood up to all this stuff, that the mores would be shifting so far to the left so fast? Absolutely not. And this is why look, they're repeating the same mistakes over and over again. They're not learning their lesson. This is why we also have to get rid of the rhinos who are in the leadership of the Republican Party, because they're not only dragging the party down, they're dragging this country down with them. Plain and simple. They're dragging us all down. And if you want to use a Judeo-Christian perspective, look, they're dragging us into the pits of hell. This once shining beacon of light and hope of freedom around the world is dimming, and it's dimming fast, folks. I'm not one who's a pessimist. I'm an eternal optimist, but I gotta tell you, I'm also a realist. The reality is this is happening now. And this is the kind of stuff that we've got to elect people who will stand up to Obama, who will stand up to the liberals, who will stand up to the Democrats, who will stand up to the lamestream media and say no. You know, it's kind of like that 70s movies, the 70s movie. The movie from the 70s called Network. You know, there's a scene in it. It's one of the more famous movie lines of all time. I'm mad as hell and I won't take it anymore. And that's what the American people have to finally do. And in order to do that, you got to stop electing the same people. Yeah, I mean, Russ Feingold, come on. The man lost by a considerable amount, really, for a long time politico like him and liberal. In a fairly liberal state. And the state got turned around by Republicans there. So the notion that they would return to a man who helped throw their state into chaos from the national scene is pretty alarming. Then this guy actually thinks that hey, I got a shot again. I'm going to go after this guy. He beat me once. He's not going to beat me again. And can you imagine what would happen to Governor Walker, the other state Republicans, and to the Senate if Russ Feingold was reelected to the Senate? Now, think about that for a second. Now, what if the Democrats all of a sudden decide to start trotting out some retreads? You know, some people that were defeated in the last election for that particular seat or a while ago, and they started winning. Do you think that's going to move the country forward, or do you think it's going to actually go back to a different time that we didn't like in the first place? It's going to set us back. Because these people haven't changed. They haven't changed their ideas or their policies. They're still the same. They don't need to change. They just wait. There's nobody. You know who's patient and you know who's impatient? Let me tell you who's patient. Liberals are patient. They've been trying for 50 or 60 years to get to this point. They're patient. They took it one step at a time. You know who's impatient? Conservatives. It took us 50 or 60 years to get to this point. And conservatives, they want to reverse that trend and turn it back within a 2-year cycle, election cycle. Do it now. Well, one, you're not going to do it now. You're going to have to be patient just like they were and do it a step at a time. And two, you have to elect the right people who are going to pursue that one step at a time. And so you'll start to see progress. It's kind of like the Bush thing. No, Bush was not the conservative that a lot of conservatives wanted. He was not. But you know what? He was a step in the right direction after Clinton. And so what did the American people do? Instead of building on that, and I know the Republicans gave us a rhino in the form of John McCain, but let's face it, McCain would have still been a small step forward instead of 10 steps backwards that we got with Obama. And then when Mitt Romney was Mitt Romney's turn, again, we had the opportunity to at least step forward again. Oh, no. Yeah, no, he was not the conservative that was going to change everything over as soon as he walked into office. It was going to be conservative. No, he wasn't conservative enough, so that wasn't going to happen, so I'm going to sit at home. And again, we reelected a guy who took us another 10 steps backwards. So now we're in a bigger hole now than we were 2 years ago. And I guarantee you that conservatives are going to say, okay, now we got this huge hole. It's all or nothing now, folks, all or nothing. We're not looking for baby steps. That's the problem. We say we're not looking for baby steps, yet we keep re-electing people like Mitch McConnell and John Bonnier, who aren't even taking baby steps. But you're going to think that those people are going to give you the giant leap forward that you're demanding. And they're not even willing to take baby steps. They don't have the backbone to take the baby steps. This is why those seats are in jeopardy. Because what the Democrats are going to do is they're going to give us some big names to challenge these seats in these districts, and they're going to rely on you, the conservative and the Republicans, doing what you did with Mitt Romney, keeping your little tired, grumpy butt at home and not going to the poll. They're going to rely on it. Because, look, when Obama won his re-election, I can guarantee you they did not expect so many of you to stay at home. They were hoping some of you would, just enough to give Obama the edge. They didn't realize how frustrated that you were with your own party and how big of a win Obama could get by all of you staying home. And I hear the same damn thing being repeated today. Well, if this guy isn't the nominee, I'm not voting. Like, are you out? Are you kidding? Did you not learn from the last two elections, presidential elections? Evidently not. And now what the Democrats are going to bank on is that is going to bleed over into state Senate races. And let me tell you something. In these soon-to-be hotly contested areas, if you people stay home, the Democrats are going to win back the Senate. And then you're going to be upset like all get out because nothing is getting done, just like the previous 2 years. And you're just going to think, well, geez, these people can't do anything. Look, you get the government you deserve. And you deserve the government that you elect. And let's face it, if you sit at home and don't vote, then whatever government is elected, you elected. I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. If you do not vote, it is the same thing as casting your vote for the winner, no matter who that winner of the election is. You can't sit out. You can't. If you have to hold your nose and vote for somebody, then that is what you have to do, because it is going to take step by step, baby steps. You are not going to ever get a giant leap. The hole is too deep. You gotta go. It's going to take a ladder. You can't jump out of the hole. You're going to have to climb up that ladder rung by rung out of that hole. And if you don't do it, the hole is going to get too deep that no ladder is going to be big enough to get us out. Look, like I said, I'm a realist. I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist. I'm optimistic that people will wake up and do the right thing and vote for at least a few of the right people so we can take one rung at a time. So maybe by the time the next presidential election comes along, we will have, gained 5 of those steps of the 20 steps we lost. That's progress. But if you're expecting, if we're 20 steps backwards, and if you're expecting that in order, even if your guy is elected, if you were expecting, let me just pick Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz wins the nomination and he wins election. If you are expecting a 30-step leap, you are kidding yourself. It's not going to happen with Ted Cruz either. None of them. You're not going to get the leap that you think you deserve, because what you deserve is baby steps, seeing how you let the Democrats take us by baby steps into this deep hole. Yeah, look, again, being a realist, and I'm honest about it, we, the American people, have dug this hole. because we're the ones that elected these people. And you can try to blame all the media, you can blame this, you can blame that. When it comes right down to it, you're the voter, you're the one responsible, you're the one that pulls the levers or writes on the ticket. Nobody else. Well, it's all the ads, man. They're just negative and they don't really tell. Well, go looking. Go search out some information. It's not hard to do with the internet today. Not hard to do. I do it daily. You don't even have to do it daily. Just pick a half hour, on the weekend. I got other things to do. Well, I don't know if you do not think that your future and your child's future and your grandchildren's future is important, if you think, riding the motorcycle or going to the beach or something instead of spending just a half hour a week, if you think watching that latest edition of Scandal or whatever the top TV program is more important, then fine, then you're going to get what you deserve. Like we have gotten what we deserve. Plain and simple. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, folks. I think it's a disgrace that we can get to the point where a person like Russ Feingold can actually believe that he can get into the race and win back a seat that he handedly lost. That's mind-boggling to me. I mean, the guy should have been so humiliated to say, well, I guess my political career is done. I should be done. I'm not going to win it. I could never win it again. I'm done. The voters have spoken. But for him to even consider and talk about coming back should scare the hell out of everybody across this country, not just Wisconsin. I don't know how else to say it. It is, well, yeah, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, and it's probably not what it should be. Washington Times is reporting that China is going to sell Jordan missile-firing drones after Obama refuses to help one of our Middle East allies. Hey. No, we're trying to fight this ISIS thing over here, Mr. President. Can you give us some help? Nope, can't do it. So now China is stepping up and increasing their influence in the region where we don't want them to have much influence. But China's offering, look, we're having enough trouble with Russian influence. China's offering to sell Jordan missile-firing drones to fight the Islamic State terror army, according to a U.S. congressman. He said, I am now aware that China is presently in Jordan to discuss operations, logistics, and maintenance associated with the urgent sale of weaponized unmanned systems, said Representative Duncan Hunter from California. Now, Representative Hunter has pressed the Obama administration to no avail to approve the sale of Predator unmanned surveillance aircraft to the Kingdom of Jordan, and to no avail. So yeah, let the Chi-Coms get a foothold in the Middle East, and then instead of just dealing with Russia, now you're gonna have to deal with another Red Army. Yeah, that's a brilliant move, Mr. President. Do you want another president or more senators who have an absolutely terrible view of what the world is really like, and to foist a foreign policy that is absolutely and completely detrimental to the future of the United States of America? No, this is what you're going to get. You keep electing these people. This is exactly what you are going to get. People are still trying to doubt me. I'm telling you, don't ever doubt me, because I'm hardly, if ever, wrong. See you tomorrow, folks. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.